This Newcastle United tier list is about to spark arguments, expose wild opinions, and probably offend some of the Newcastle United fan base. Welcome to my Newcastle United stay or goal tier list. What I'm going to be doing in this tier list, as you can see what is in front of us right now, is I'm going to evaluate Newcastle United going into next season. So I'll be assessing their long-term value to the club. So players with high value but high quality. Players that ultimately I don't think should be here. Players that I don't think are good enough to be here. And players that contracts are expiring. So, a lot of these opinions you might not be happy with, but what I'm trying to do here as a Newcastle United fan is I'm trying to explain the challenge of building long success for Newcastle United. Obviously, we've got things like financial fair play, but also things like player development. If I don't think it's been there, then I'm going to say, look, you need to go. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight in to this tier list. So I've done it in order of kind of goalkeepers, right backs, centre backs, left backs. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. So we're going to start with the first goalkeeper, Max Thompson, on the list. Haven't seen a lot of the lad. He's been on the bench here and there a few times. I think give him a loan move, see what the lad can do. Next, Mark Gillespie. It's out of. I would have maybe one staying around. I would probably say Mark Gillespie is a third, maybe fourth choice keeper. But what we need to kind of clear out the goalkeeper department. I think we need. Well, I'm not going to spoil the list. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I'm not that silly. So John Ruddy, he has to go, blood. He has to go, blood. Vlad, I'm going to call him Vlad because I can't say his name. Really long name, Vladimir Odysseas. Probably as good as going to get it. He had a good season in Seville. Apparently we loaned him out and didn't sell him because it would have affected PSR. I would sell him. I don't know why Ruddy's went and stay as well. I would sell him. Hopefully you can get like maybe 10, 15 million back for him because he has had a good season and that'll be a nice bit of money for Newcastle to reinvest into the squad. Now, next we're going to Nick Pope, who started the campaign as Newcastle United's number one, and then he's lost his spot, and he just, since his injuries, he's getting a bit older, he's not good enough, simply has to go. Not been good enough this year, a lot of high error mistakes, not a lot of, because Nick Pope, don't get us wrong, when he's been at Newcastle, at times he's been an amazing goalkeeper, and we always know he's had a mistake in him, but some of the saves he made, like, you can say, okay, he made this mistake today, but look how many points he's gained us previously. But that hasn't happened this season. He's got to go. Move him on. Thank you for what you've done for us. Big saves in the Carabao Cup final. The one that sticks in my head is the Curtis Jones save. Thank you, Nick Pope. Time to move on. Now going to Aaron Ramsdale, who didn't start the season as number one. And me, myself, I was screaming for Aaron Ramsdale. I was going, please start Aaron Ramsdale. I wanted to grab Eddie Howe and just shake him and be like, start Aaron Ramsdale now. But he didn't do that. And then he came in because Nick Pope had a little injury. I don't think Ramsdale grabbed the opportunity by the neck and said, you have to start me. Did do good bits. I think he came in his first game, I think it was against Tottenham in the Cup, and you could see how much... I thought the defence was a lot more confident with someone who can play out from the back, which Pope can't really do. Where Ramsdale can. So, I would keep Ramsdale. I would. Not to say... I think he's good enough to be a number one. But I also think... If we can sign someone like James Trafford, it's really good competition for Ramsdale and Trafford to have two really good goalkeepers. I would keep Aaron Ramsdale. I believe we've got an option to buy of around about £20 million. I don't think that's a bad deal. If you can sell Vladimir Odysseas for 15 million and you can get an extra 5 million and get Ramsdale as your backup goalkeeper or potential starting goalkeeper, I'm doing that all day of the week, Newcastle fans. Now, moving on to Leo Shahar. We haven't seen a lot of him. He came on in the Champions League against Karabag. He looked like he liked to have the ball. He seemed confident. Haven't seen a lot of him. It could be time for a loan move. He's still quite young, but I'm going to say, obviously, it's so crucial getting players' development right at this point in their career. And obviously, you've seen with Newcastle in the past, with signing young players, we haven't got it right in terms of loan moves. If you look at ones that stick out in my mind is Garan Kiol. He's now playing in Sparta Prague, but he had a loan in Scotland. He had a loan in the Netherlands, and he was absolutely terrible. You've got the likes who was on this list of Antonio Cordero, who's been out on loan this year and has been awful, but he was really good last year. So you've got to really look after these players. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say, let's loan out Leo Shahar. I don't think he's going to be being a backup right back. I can't see that. We've got a crucial summer and a crucial season coming up next season. So Leo, put him out on loan. That's what I would do. Now, Harrison Ashby, another great example of a young player was signed from West Ham. High hopes. Eddie Howe really, really rated this man when we signed him. He just hasn't lived up to it. He's been on loan at Bradford. He's been loaned at a few places, but he's just not been good enough. I think he was at QPR last year as well. He's just not good enough. I would say he has to go, blood. I don't know his contract length. I think it might be coming to an end. If it is, his contract exit, but we're going to put him in. He has to go, blood. Now, Emil Kraft, contract coming to the end of the season. He's a good squad player, but he hasn't been fit enough in the last 2 seasons. So for me, it's inevitable. It's a contract exit. I mean, he's been a great servant for the club. He's been here for many years. Hasn't played a lot of games of football, but he had come in when we had a few injury problems and he did a good little job. He played at centre back. He's played at right back. Like, he's not world class. He's not a great player. I think he's just probably like he's alright, can do the job kind of player, but contract exit. Got to move him out. It's kind of like moving the dead wood out in a non-disrespectful way. So that's what I'll be doing with Emil Kraft. Now, moving on to Kieran Trippier. Now, we know already Kieran Trippier. It's a nice and quick one. The legend, in my opinion, he is. Shags who he wants. He's leaving Newcastle United at the end of his contract. Now, there's been talks that he could go abroad again, which wouldn't be a bad move for him. I mean, I hope in his next move he gets a lot of money. Obviously, he'll have a lot anyways, but I hope he gets a lot of money because he's been a wonderful servant for Newcastle United. A legend in my eyes. I'll always remember him as that first person to believe in the project, help winning a cup, give us some amazing moments like the Kieran Trippier over the wall, scoring free kicks against Everton, Aston Villa, Man City. So look, he's been a great servant for us, but he's already made his mind up. Thank you, Kieran Trippier. Move on. Contract exit. Now, Tino Livramento. A lot of talk on Tino's future. Apparently that he's refusing to sign a contract was the words that I think it was quote us if I'm wrong, but I'm sure Alex Crook said on TalkSport that he's got no interest in signing a contract at all. And for me, he's injury prone. He never plays a full season. Plays 25 Premier League games a season, if that. In the numbers you're talking about, 50, 60, 70 million. Let him go. If you don't want to be here, then go. I'm not bothered. There's some players in this team, in this list that we'll talk about that you cannot replace, in my eyes. Bruno Guimaraes. Let's start with him. Tino Livramento is replaceable. For every single Tino Livramento, there's a Coyote from Brentford. Not saying he'd be my top choice, but he's a good player. You don't want to be here, then go. I mean, you've been good for. You've won a cup with us. But if you don't want to be here and if you don't want to sign a contract, then I've got no problem with you going because you're replaceable. You don't play enough games of football. And as you can see this year, Kieran Trippier at the age of 35, 36 years old has to play a lot of games of football because Livramento can't stay fit. You might call it harsh, but I mean, his current performances haven't been great. A lot of mistakes leading to goals, a lot of laziness I've seen in his game at the moment. And don't get us wrong, I like Livramento, and I wish he would stay because he is a good player. He's an England international, and as I said, I wish his injury problems get better. But if you don't want to be here, I don't care, to be honest with you. So, for me, he's developed really well here. Still little bits in his game where I think, just fucking cross the ball in the box, pardon my French. And he doesn't do it, but he's good. He can invert in the midfield, he can go down the line, but I would sell him. If you're getting 50... Well, obviously, PSL's a massive factor in this. And for Newcastle to reinvest in the squad, which is needed, and there's going to be a video on the channel, press the I button, it should already be up there, and it's going to be talking about Eddie Howe's future at Newcastle United. And I'm going to kind of talk about PSR and limitations and wages and how much you can have on wages, but how much transfer fees you can spend. And ultimately, we'll have to reinvest in this squad, and selling players is going to be a thing. Livramento, I wouldn't mind selling him for 50, 60 million because we've got a lot of players that I think are more crucial. Now let's move on to Alex Murphy. Now Alex Murphy's had some loan moves himself. Been all right. I think he's been on Bradford City. He's played a few times this year. He's come on. He's played in the cup, but he's came on and he hasn't actually done bad since he's come on. I think he started against Qarabag in the Champions League. I believe, I could be wrong, but was it a different game? But anyways, he started a game. I thought he's pretty solid. Could be a good squad player. I'm tempted between the loan and the stay. He's been here for a long time. Eddie Howe's obviously trusted him a lot to be in the matchday squad, every single squad this season. I'm going to put him in stay. I mean, Eddie Howe clearly trusts him, putting him in the squad. He's gave him minutes. Clearly trusts him. He's going to be developing into a better player, training with the first team with Eddie Howe every week. So, Alex Murphy is a stay. I should have put Eddie Howe on this list, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. But Eddie Howe is in stay as well. But watch the video by pressing the I button up there, and that'll kind of tell you what I want to do with Howe. Now, next we're moving to Fabian Shaw, whose contract comes to an end at the end of the season. Tough one with Fabi because he's been brilliant for Newcastle. He's been an absolute wonderful servant. I think pound for pound, the best signing we've ever made. £3.5 million, I think it was. Amazing signing. Contract comes to an end. Obviously, he's just had a really bad injury. He's just came back and then he's had an operation on his foot because he's got an infection in his foot. He's getting on. I think he's about 33, 34 years old. Brilliant passer off the ball. Brilliant defender. But I'm leaning more towards contract exit. And I'll tell you the reason why. You've got some centre-backs like, just say Fabian Shaw, 34. You've got Dan Burn, 33, 34. That's, in my opinion, that's two old centre-backs. Whereas I kind of want to get, not young centre-backs, but centre-backs that are like maybe 25, 26, 27. To come into the club and ultimately give them more depth, and I just think that would be the right thing for us. Obviously, Fabian Shaw is getting to the end of his career, so you'd imagine he'd start losing pace, which we've already seen a little bit. He'll just lose that step, and Newcastle want to be challenging for the Champions League, so harsh reality is I think we need to let go of Fabian Shaw. Let me know if you agree in the comments. Now next we're moving to Dan Burn. For me, it's a stay. I think he's a good influencer on the group. As I said, between going, it was one of Fabian Shaw or Burn for me. Shaw's contract comes to an end. Burn's a local lad. Burn's a leader. He's a good defender, in my opinion. Had a bit of flack this year, but I would keep Dan Burn. He can come in, he can do a solid job. He can cover left back. You don't really want him covering left back, but he can cover left back. He can start centre back, he can cover centre back. Plays a big role in the dressing room. Dan Burn, an easy stay for me. Now moving on to Sven Botman. Recently signed a new contract with Newcastle United, which I was happy about. Again, a player that struggles with injury problems, but I think he's getting over that hill now. I think at Newcastle his first season was boom, so high, getting in the Champions League, best defence in the league, and then it just went down because of injury struggles. But he's coming back up. Obviously, he missed a couple of games because he had a face injury, but again, I mean, it's not his fault he got kicked in the face. But he's playing a lot of games now. I think he's getting over that injury. They're probably trying to manage his minutes still. It's an easy stay for me. Sven Botman stays. Now, one of the best signings of the summer, Malik Chow. Now, he hasn't been the greatest since the turn of the year. He's still been brilliant and putting some brilliant performances. But there's been some performances here and there which haven't been great. But he's played a lot of football. He's probably burnt out, you'd imagine. One of the easiest stays for me on this list. Wonderful centre back, Malik Chow. Now, moving on to my target, reportedly picking up 100 grand a week, out on loan at Middlesbrough. Came out publicly the other day and said he doesn't see a future at Newcastle United, but he's not good enough for Newcastle United. That's why he doesn't see a future here. He's on 100 grand a week. He's got to go. Frees up wages for top players. He's not good enough to compete with Lewis Hall at left back. For me, an easy exit. Now, the star boy, Lewis Hall. You guys know what I'm going to put him in. He has to. I'm only joking. It's an easy stay. Lewis Hall is, in my opinion, the best left back in the Premier League. One of the best left backs in Europe. On a long-term contract. Boyhood Newcastle fan. Absolutely delighted to have him at Newcastle United. He's a wonderful, wonderful player. He's a blockbuster player. He can do everything. He can go forwards. He can go backwards. I think he's better at going forwards, to be honest with you, because you see some of the balls he puts in the box are wicked. But the thing I like about him, he can go straight down the wing, he can cut inside, he can run through midfield, he can do it all. Lewis Hall, Have to build a team around him. One of the main players. Stay. Now moving on to Sandro Tonali. Now then, Newcastle, some of you might not be happy with this, but I love Sandro, and Sandro is one of our best players. Maybe the best, but he's definitely one of our best players. Now again, moving on to the PSR situation, the murmurs and the whispers. Top names have to go. And for me, because already Liverpool's sort of big name for money wise, what you're going to sell, he's going to go. Now, for me, it's out of Tonali and Anthony Gordon, who is going to leave Newcastle United this summer. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave Botman. Is it Botman? We're going to leave Tonali and Gordon till last, because we are going to have to. I think we're going to lose two players, big players this summer, which will be Liverpool definitely, in my opinion, and then Tonali or Gordon. So let's park the bus on that and move on to the captain, our leader, the legend, Bruno Guimaraes. Easy stay. In my opinion, our best player. Maybe not ability. I mean, ability-wise, he's probably the best player, but his mentality, his effort, you cannot question him once. He's a star man in the midfield. You've seen since we've lost him. He's been out of the Derby game. He was out of the Palace game and a few games before that. You can see how much we miss Bruno. Stay, and hopefully he's back playing against Bournemouth tomorrow, the 18th of April. Now, Joe Willock, he'll have 1 year left on his contract going into the summer. There's talk that we could probably get 20 to 25 million for Willock. Now, I think it'll be more 15 to 20. And this season, he hasn't been bad. He's had an alright season. But 1 year left on his contract. He's at the stage of his career where he's coming into his prime. He's probably going to want to play games of football. If we can get our money back, which is 25 million, then great. But even if we can get 15, 20 million, we've had him since 2021 on a permanent basis. He's been there for a good 5 years. He has to go. Money-wise, I think that's a smart move for Newcastle to reinvest. I mean, if you look at the midfield options we've got, you've got Bruno, at the moment, you've got Tonali, Joe Linton, Miley, Ramsey. You'd imagine we're going to bring people in as well. Hopefully a number 10. That's like a lot of midfielders we've got already. So for me, Willock's going to go. It's inevitable. He's a good lad. I like him. But I just don't see a role for him in this Newcastle system. I think in a way Newcastle have outgrown Willock. Not in a disrespectful way, just in a way of he's not getting in over Bruno, Joe Linton, Ramsey, Tonali. He's not getting in over them names. So for me, Willock, I love you. Go and play some football. You won us a cup. Go play football, son. Maybe have an outside chance of getting in an England squad in the future. Obviously not for this year because it's not going to happen. But he deserves to play football. He deserves to have a good career and play a lot of games. Now moving on to Joe Linton. A lot of injury struggles this year with Big Joe. It's a tough one because the way I look at it is if someone came in for Joe Linton for 40 million, what we paid for him, I'd accept it. I would say okay. Now he's been a crucial member of Newcastle. His physicality, he's a monster. He's an absolute monster, but just too injury prone this season. So for me, he's staying. I cannot see a world where Joe Linton leaves this summer. As I said, if you get like an offer, if someone puts an offer on the table, an offer you can't refuse, then sell him. Like if Saudi come in and say 40 million, 50 million, there you go, then sell him. But I don't think that'll happen. I think Joe Linton loves it here. He'll want to stay with Bruno, his boy. Let him stay. I think Joe Linton will be a good player to come off the bench. I don't think he'll end up being a starter next season because I do think we're going to reinvest heavily. And there's another two men on this list that I think are better than Joe Linton now, who we're going to come on to in a moment. But Joe Linton is stay. Now moving on to another star boy, we've got Lewis Miley. An easy stay. Absolute wonderful season for Lewis Miley. He broke through in the 23-24 season. And he was absolutely wonderful. I remember he played against Chelsea, got an unreal assist. He scored his first senior goal against Fulham in the Premier League. And then even this season, I mean, he scored goals in the Champions League. I think it was against Leverkusen. He scored goals. I believe he scored against Fulham in the Carabao Cup. He's been a crucial player for Newcastle. He got injured. You can tell we missed him. He's filled in at right back, and he was amazing at right back. I would even see him playing there in the future, because if players aren't committed, then put him there. But for me, he's a midfielder. Suits it there, but he can't play right back, which is nice to know. He can play anywhere in the midfield, an easy stay. Now the next one is Jacob Ramsey. Another easy stay. Now I've been so impressed with Jacob Ramsey this season. I think it was really harsh to drop him against Crystal Palace the other day. Even I said to my friends when Jacob Ramsey came in, because I watch every game of football I can, and I watched Ramsey a lot, but I knew when we signed Ramsey, he is a baller. He can definitely break into the England squad one day. I'm telling you now, he's amazing. He can do everything. He's amazing at going forward. He can defend. We've seen his defensive part this season. At Villa, he sometimes operated on the left-hand side. We haven't seen that in Newcastle this year. But what Ramsey can do, which we miss, that we don't do enough, we haven't got players that can do this enough, is a fast, athletic player who can have his back turned to a defender, receive the ball, he can turn and run with the ball. We don't have a lot of that in the team in the midfield. That's why I love Ramsey. He's a quality player. You can see him developing under Eddie Howe. I hope he's back in against Bournemouth tomorrow. It's a stay. Now, moving on to Antonito Cordero, who's out on loan. He's had a hard time out on loan. It hasn't worked for him. He started off in Belgium, and then he went back to Spain, and it's not working for him. Now, what I would do is I'm not going to let him go. I would put him in. I'd put him in stay. To get him back, put an arm around him, let him develop, even if it's on the first team, bit of under 21s, and just let him get settled at Newcastle, let him develop and become the player we know he can be, because he had links with Barcelona and Real Madrid before Newcastle United signed him. So bring him back, nurture him, just arm around him, say, look, you're amazing, you can do this, you can do that, and help him, and hopefully he'll be a player in the future. Maybe the season after he'll be ready for a loan move again. But I think after 2 poor loan spells, just bring him back, go back to basics, and see what can happen with Antonito. Then moving on to Harvey Barnes. Now, a bit of a weird one with Harvey Barnes. For me, I think calling him a purple patch player is harsh. I think he's just above that, though. I don't think he's been amazing. He's had his chances at times, and at times he takes it, and at times he doesn't. Now, he's one of the best finishers in this team, don't get us wrong. He probably is the best finisher in this team. But I don't think our system suits him, because the way we play our wingers are like hugging the touchline, basically. They're so far wide, where I think Harvey Barnes needs to be close to goal, because as soon as you can beat a man and boom, you'll score a goal. You've seen it, the goal against Wolves when we're losing. Spins a player, bam, top corner. Against West Ham, spins Calvin Phillips, bam, it's goal. That's a signature. There's that finesse shot where he just whips it in the corner. That is Harvey Barnes' signature. That's what it is. And you've seen in big games this season against Manchester City, scoring the winning goals, against Leeds, scoring winning goals. But then there's games where I'm like, what are you doing? So it's a really tough one with Harvey Barnes. Because I know he's got it in him, but I don't feel like we've got the proper best out of him. He's been an inconsistent player. He's been consistent at being inconsistent, which is my worry. I would give him one more year. I would keep him. Again, if you get to a situation where someone comes in and says he has 30, 35 million, 40 million, then I'll do the deal. But I'll keep him. Now, moving on to Jacob Murphy. I'm going to do Murphy and Alanga together. And it's the reason for Newcastle United need a right winger. Alanga, he's come in, he's flopped a bit, hasn't been good enough. He has shown a little bit of signs in the last few weeks or months, but nowhere near enough to say, right, you're my right winger, you're going to start and you're going to do damage. Not one goal in the Premier League for Alanga. Obviously, he scored it twice against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, or the Nou Camp, however you call it. But one of them have to go. And for me, Alanga stays and Jacob Murphy goes. Now, we might think that's harsh. You might get 15, 20 million for the Charger. Liverpool come sign him, you can play with Isaac. Obviously, you're going to have no TK for a while, so why don't you invest in Murphy, 20 million? But I think, obviously, we popped 55 million on Alanga's head. Now, I do think Alanga's a better player than Murphy, and I think a game against Crystal Palace shown Alanga's better than Murphy. I think Alanga's lacking confidence. I think the thing that happens with big money signings, if you start poor, then you get stuck in a rut. Now, what Alanga needs, in my opinion, is a goal from open play in the Premier League at St James's Park with a good performance to go with it, and then I think boom, he's away. That's Alanga. He's ready to go. I do think he'll become good, and that's why I'm saying Murphy's going to go and Alanga's going to stay, because we need to buy a right wing who's ready to come in and be a top winger. All players like Agliouche from Monaco who have been linked with today. Players like that, but a player that can come in who you think, in my opinion, just a player that comes in and think he's a good player. He's a good freaking player. That's what we need, in my opinion. Now, moving on to Sean Neve. Been on the bench this year, come on a couple of times. I'd get Malone move, see what he's about. I mean, he nearly scored against Qarabag away when he came on. Put a good ball in the box as well. Should have had an assist. I want to see what he's about. I mean, obviously Eddie Howe's kept him around the first team for a while now. Obviously he's played a few under-21s games as well. But I want to see what Sean Neve's about. Let him go out on loan. Let him learn his trade. Against physical, because obviously League 1, League 2, I don't think you get a move to the Championship, but League 1, League 2 is a very physical league. Let him see what he's about, and hopefully he can score a lot of goals, come back in Eddie Howe's got a headache, because the striking department, which we're moving on to right now, is a huge headache for Newcastle United. And we're starting with William Asula. Now, Asula nearly left in the summer for £30 million to Frankfurt, and I was thinking at the time, we are absolutely mental for not accepting that. Obviously, he played a few games. It wasn't great, but then he's had this kind of back end of the season. He's scored a worldie against Man United in the last minute, and we've beat them. He's just played against Crystal Palace the other day. Wasn't the greatest, but he scored a goal. So he's starting to score goals, Will Asula. Now, for me, I think we need to absolutely shake up the striking department. But William Asula, if we were getting the money of 25-30 million, what's been flirted in the past, which I think we will get, he's got to go. Sign him for 11, 12, 30 million. I don't think he's going to be an outstanding striker. I think he'll be an alright striker, but I don't think he'll be one of them players where we'll let him go and he absolutely excels. I just don't think that about Will. And I like Will, he's a character, but I'm going to move him on. Now, moving on to Wissa. Wow, where to start? I mean, come back from injury, scored against Fulham, scored in the Champions League against PSV, and I was thinking, okay, Wissa's come back from injury, he's going to start scoring goals, but his injuries ruined him. I think there's a perception with Newcastle fans that he's a lazy twat, that he doesn't care. He liked Robbie's post on Instagram after Sunderland beat win the derby, which for me is inexcusable. But you paid 55 million from. I mean, maybe you'll benefit from. Like what I'm looking at is, will he benefit from having a full pre-season? But then he's just went and played for his country, played a full 90 minutes. So for me, I'm like, Eddie Howe's picking William Asula over a 55 million pound striker and our record signing as well. Voltmar, who we'll move on to in a moment. So does that think he just doesn't rate him now, or they just hung out with Dry now with Wissa? It's really tough. It's really tough because he hasn't even played over 10 games. I want it to work, I do. I'm really struggling. I mean, you'd have to get your 55 million back if you were to sell him, which I don't think we'll get. So for me, he stays. I think I can't see him moving after a year. And maybe Eddie Howe's holding him back. Maybe Eddie Howe wants him to have a pre-season, get back up to scratch. Maybe that's why he's being held back. Maybe he's not fully fit. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we don't know behind the scenes. Obviously, Newcastle fans have got a perception that he's turned lazy. I don't think that. Because I think if he was lazy and he didn't train, I don't think Eddie Howe would put him in the squad. Because I feel like Eddie Howe's no nonsense, and I think our players do like Eddie Howe a lot. So I don't think that's the case with Wissa. And you've got, I think it was like people like Rooney and stuff in the Champions League saying, oh, Voltmar and Wissa, obviously they went out to do the runs after the Champions League because they didn't play a lot, or they didn't come on, and they were the last at the back of the queue. Who cares? Voltmar is clearly not the fastest striker. Wissa might have lost a bit of pace, or might be struggling with an injury. Just shut up and just media nonsense. But Wissa, I'm going to back him. We'll keep him. And same for Voltmar. Now, Eddie Howe's system clearly doesn't suit Nick Voltmar. in the summer, I think Eddie Howe has to change his system. So as I said, you press the I button, you'll see my thoughts on Eddie Howe, what we need to do going forward, if Eddie Howe's the man to stay. Now, if Eddie Howe is the man to stay, because I'm not going to ruin the video, he has to build the system around Baltimore for it to work. Now, I do think we should sign a striker, a different profile to Wissa and Baltimore, maybe like a kind of an Isaac type player, like a Darwin Núñez, someone like that. But Baltimore, if you build the system around him, even if you can change to a proper 4-2-3-1 and have Baltimore playing 10 and a striker and them playing off each other, or if it's having a number 10 playing off Baltimore. But if not, and you can get your money back, then sell him. But I'm going to keep him. He has to stay. We've only had them for less than a year, you know. What, like 8-9 months? He's settling in from Germany still. He was really good at the start. There was encouraging signs at the start, but I'm keeping Nick Baltimore. Now, moving on to the debate. Oof. It's Tonali and it's Gordon. Now, Gordon wants to leave Newcastle but won't ask to leave, or hasn't asked to leave. And Tonali hasn't asked to leave, won't agitate to leave, but would be interested in an opportunity. So maybe it's a toss-up between these two. Now, the way I look at it is, we're keeping Harvey Barnes. So if we're keeping Harvey Barnes, we're going to have to sign a left wing and a new right wing, because I think we need to sell one of them and bring someone in. So then I'm like, okay, so if we're signing a new left wing and a new right wing, and that doesn't work out, and we've got rid of Gordon now, I'm going to be like, oh no. Whereas Tonali, we've got Joe Linton, Bruno, Miley, Ramsey, and we're going to be signing other players, potentially Tonali replacements like Lamine Camara, people like that. Now for me, and you might not agree with this, now I think Tonali is outstanding, world-class talent. I just worry about losing Gordon. I don't know why, but I really worry about losing Gordon, because I don't know who we can sign to be like, I know for a fact that's going to work. Now, Gordon hasn't been the greatest in the Premier League this year. A lot of penalties have been his goals, and the Champions League has scored a lot of goals. Now, I want to say keep Tonali. I really do. It's really tough, because I think we'll have to get rid of one of them, and I want to keep this list fair. It's really hard. I'm keeping Gordon. I'm sorry, I'm keeping Gordon, and Tonali's got to go. Tonali's got to go because PSR, and we're going to demand 90 million from him, 100 million, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Whereas Gordon, I think you'll get 70, 80 million for him. But for me, I think long term, a new season, get a number 10, get a new right wing, get a striker who can actually play. I think Gordon will get back to his best form. And I think Tonali can be replaced. I think Gordon can be replaced, don't get us wrong, but I think the winger market at the moment is a lot harder to replace Gordon than it is to replace Tonali. So that is my tier list. Now, leave in the comment section below if you would change anything. If you think, realistically, what would you do? I want to know that. And just kind of tell us why you would, if for example, if you say, okay, I would sell Wissa, I would sell Gordon, and I would sell Alanga. Let us know why. But if you enjoyed the video, please do me a favour. Please smash the like button. It would be massively appreciated. And it would be an honour for you to join my YouTube channel by subscribing, so you don't miss an upload about Newcastle United or about future football content, because it's not just the Newcastle channel, it's all football related content. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video, and in the famous words, I'll see you in the next one.